Dan Illman, Mike Beer kicking off the late 50-cent pick 4 at Santa Anita on Sunday with race number 6, the Grade 2 John Henry Turf Championship. It's a race, it's a sequence that you can bet with a new DRF Bets account. Sign up at bets.drf.com and receive 300% the deposit match. Here's the field for the John Henry Turf Championship, Grade 2. Again, we're going 1.25 miles. It is a nice purse and a nice field, but the 7 Fashion Business might have stamped himself as a leading light in this division with a big win last time out in the Del Mar Handicap. They stretched him out to 1 3/8 miles. And he made this explosive 5-wide brush with about 3.5 furlongs out. And not only did he just take over the lead and open it up, he kept extending in the stretch.
Yeah, true enough. I mean, this is a horse who was always pretty good as a 3-year-old, that it does feel like he's probably raised his game a little bit as a 4-year-old. Now, I thought he ran fine in the Manhattan 3-bet. They shipped him to New York. That was a pretty tough field. Thought he ran fine there. It never looked like he was going to win, but he kept racing on in a race that set up well for him. But it did feel like he took it to another level last time. And I know that there was some trouble with some other horses in that race towards the inside. But this horse just blitzed that field, and there was still a long way to go in that spot. He kept going through the stretch. I was really impressed with that win.
Perhaps the horse that suffered from the most trouble was the number 4, Yagadawana, who was dismissed at 45-1 odds that day. Now, he was saving ground while Fashion Business made his brush, and he got shuffled and steadied all the way back to last, and by the time he altered course to the far outside, Fashion Business was long gone. But it does say a lot that this horse was able to rally to finish a pretty easy second in that race. They tried him on dirt last time out. I'm not going to hold that race against him. I'm just not sure where that 97 and where that Del Mar handicap came from, because his prior races, while solid, not spectacular.
I agree with all that stuff. Listen, he's a horse who's clearly improved on turf, but he really, that last race, and considering all the trouble he had and the way that he finished in that race, and then of course the way he galloped out past the wire too, I mean, it felt like it was every bit of a huge improvement for him, as it looks like it was on paper. We'll see if he can back it up. I'm with you. I don't care about the last race where they tried dirt with him. I'm very interested to see what he does in this spot.
The 3 Ashley Loves Sugar is such a cool horse. 7 years old. He is 10 for 28 lifetime. He won this race in 2016, and he didn't have the greatest trip last time out in the Del Mar handicap. But I do wonder now, after seeing him 4 times at the age of 7, if there's still all that mustard on the fastball. I wonder if he's lost just a little bit. This was a horse that used to consistently buyer triple digits, and in his 4 races this year, he's yet to get higher than a 94.
Yeah, and especially with that last one, because I'm looking at the first 3 of those where they went shorter with him and just feel like, all right, this is a horse who's 7 years old now, they're racing him into shape. And I feel like last time was the time for him to step forward, getting back out in distance, which he really likes. And he did have a little trouble in that race. I mean, he did get held up behind horses, but he didn't have nearly the trouble Yagadawana had, and he still never really kicked that hard in the stretch. I'm with you. I wonder if he's lost a step.
Curious to see what the pace looks like in this race. There are no true burners. Timeform US rightly has the 5 Secretary at War on the lead, in my opinion, because we've seen Secretary at War in New York take advantage of situations when he was able to get to the front. Now, I know he did sit and finish successfully in his Southern California debut for trainer Richard Baltas, but I think in a race like this, at a distance like this, you've got to get this horse out on the lead and get him relaxed, because the main concern is the distance, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's just especially if you've followed this horse at all and seen his races back east especially, I mean, he just looks like a horse who maybe doesn't even really want that much beyond a mile in his races. It feels like it's really pushing it for him to stretch him out in here. They got to put him on the lead here and just see if he can take a step forward with more distance. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it.
The number 2, Arbor Eddy, should also be forwardly placed. This is a very gutsy Calbred, but he is stretching all the way out. He ran well at 1.25 miles, 3 starts back, but that race wouldn't be good enough to win this one. I think Mario Gutierrez will likely use Arbor Eddy's early speed and try to get a piece of this. Again, I've always been a fan of this horse, but I'm just not sure if he's graded stakes caliber at 1.25 miles.
I agree with all that stuff, Dan. I'm a big fan of this horse. I like him a lot. I don't trust him at this distance, and I really, he ran fine last time. I don't really care for that loss in there. I mean, I don't know how he didn't win this. He got a perfect trip. He took the race over in the stretch. He was clear, and he just didn't put it away. He got run down by Liam the Charmer, who's back in this spot.
Perhaps Ritzy AP will be forwardly placed. We've seen him on the lead in the past, and he came from off it to win in a stakes race at Santa Rosa 2 starts back, but I wonder if Tyler Bays tries to take advantage of this inside post position, and if not get the lead, at least break running and save ground in a coveted pocket position behind moderate fractions.
Yeah, just try and get forward and trip out in this race and see if it helps him, because he clearly has to run the best race of his life to win here.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Grade 2 John Henry Turf Championship. The horse to beat is Fashion Business. I'm interested in your take on Liam the Charmer. I've always been a fan of this horse. He came within a length of winning the Charles Whittingham in 2017 at 1.25 miles. He was away for almost a year. He came back as a gelding, and he really gutted out that win over Ann Arbor Eddy last time out at 1.16 miles. I'm pretty sure the connections would have just been pleased to see him finish as a prep race, but he was able to split horses when Ann Arbor Eddy drifted out towards the center of the turf course. I thought it was a good, solid effort off a year layoff to run a career top buyer speed figure of 97. The problem is pace, or his lack thereof. Yeah,
we'll see what kind of trip he gets in this. I'm with you. I thought he ran well off of that long layoff last time. I just like the way that he traveled in there. He always looked like he was pretty comfortable, and then when they got to the stretch, Ann Arbor Eddy looked home free in there. I like the way that this horse came and got him at the end. It was a nice performance. I liked his races last year too. I put him second. I just could have put him on top. I'm going to stick with Fashion Business, but I'm using this horse too.
I agree. Mike's going 7, 6, 4, 3. I'm going 6, 7, 4, and 2, and I'll have to use a lot of Fashion Business along with Liam the Charmer in the Grade 2 John Henry Turf Championship. And if you're betting that 50-cent late pick 4 at the Great Race Place on Sunday, no better place than with a DRF Bets account. Sign up at bets.drf.com, receive a 300% deposit match. Approximate post time for the John Henry Turf Championship, 3:14 Pacific. Good luck.